Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Vintage Story. So it's currently not too long after the last episode. I've actually just been getting some things together. You can see I did a bunch more napping tonight after the end of the last episode. And I've been getting some stuff together to start running some paths, because I think that's what we are going to be spending a bit of time today doing. We're going to go ahead and make up, let's go with 4 shovels. And we'll have basically 4 axes, because this one's on its last legs. And we can always come back if we need to. And let's see, let me grab a couple bowls of food. And the sun should be coming up before too terribly long. So we're actually going to pop out basically right over here. Because today, I think I would like to start running this road down into this forest here. It's primarily, there's a little bit of oak, there's a little bit of maple, but there is a lot of pine trees. Now, if we don't get lucky and get some resin, we do have more pine trees up over here. But I'd really love to use this area because we do have the very high magnetite. There, and then we have a high magnetite right there. So I'm hoping to be able to use this area to set up both a resin area as well as start getting iron. I'm really hoping we get lucky today on some iron. And I actually pretty much cleaned out our crate that we had of andesite rock. Now, we do still have a little bit of andesite over there where we were mining for cassiterite. So I may end up making my way over there here pretty soon to go gather up that stone, but we'll see. Because I imagine by the end of things we will probably end up needing it. Looks like some of the water back here is starting to freeze from the weather. We're down to -4 degrees Celsius. So we are sitting a little bit below freezing at the moment. So we can expect to see that progressively more as winter goes on. And of course we're doing paths because they give us a 30% movement speed. You can see whenever we run on this, we are substantially faster. So trying to run paths basically just all around where we're going to be traveling and moving through, because it does just make life a bit more convenient. So right now I'm just running like a main roadway that's going to kind of come up, wind around, and then kind of come in somewhere close to where we're going to start digging for that magnetite. But I'm hoping, now that the sun's coming up, we're going to see about hopefully locating us some resin trees. And the nice thing about the paths, of course, we're replacing all the dirt with the dirt that we mine up, pretty much. But of course, each path also requires 4 stone, so it does also require that we've been doing a bit of mining. But I'm hoping that once we start digging for the magnetite, that should replace the stone that we're consuming for running this road. And then once we are wealthy, we're going to take and light up our roads. But right now, that's a bit above our pay grade, to be sure. But hopefully here soon. I hear some wolves. I do suspect that we're probably going to have to beat down a few wolves today, maybe, because I do know that there's a few wolves that do nest down back in these woods. But we're going to be kind of thinning out their home today a bit. So. And honestly, once we get a little bit deeper into the woods, I may even throw in our armor for today. Just because we're going to be kind of focused, trying to build, and I don't want a wolf jumping us, to be honest. Alright, so our very first pine tree is right over there. Usually you can spot these pretty easily. There's one right there, there's one right there. Let me go ahead, at this point, I probably should have made up a few more of these. Let's just go ahead and get more ladders. But since I am planning on getting into mechanical power either late winter or kind of beginning of the next year, I would like to go ahead and get some resin located, start collecting it, and starting to stockpile it and stuff, hopefully. So basically what we're going to do is we are going to just break away these leaves around this pine tree. And unless something has changed, and I didn't realize it, as far as collecting your resin, you're going to have to find this on naturally generated pine logs and pine trees. It's not something that you can like necessarily grow a farm of. So we're gonna have to find natural pine trees. We actually got a pine seed though, but there was none on that one. I didn't really expect it. I will say resin is fairly rare, so we're gonna go into this expecting it to probably take a little bit for us to come across. Oh, that's a weird one. It's not even on anything. I'm curious. But we want to be careful not to break any wood that could potentially be resin field pine. So I don't see any on that one. So we're going to go ahead and chop this, clear this out. And ideally we want to get all the pine trees out of here that aren't resin trees. We want to get them out of the way. At least for now. We may come back through and plant some things in specific places, but I don't want the wild forest, you know. We're actually getting really lucky on pine seeds, though. Oh my gosh. Which you won't hear me complain, because normally I have the worst luck getting tree seeds, especially without shears. Ooh, it actually might be worth us poking our head down here too, because bear in mind this would actually probably fall into that magnetite zone. I mean, we're a little bit north. If I could find myself on the map. Oh, right here. We're a little bit north from the ones that we prospected, but this was very high, so this would probably still fall under the high category. We have iron and copper. Wow. 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 Copper Mountain. I love Copper Mountain. It's the best place ever. Okay. So, yeah, we have found... I don't have a pick on me that can mine it. That was the quickest iron search I think I've ever done. We just poke our head down and there it is. We've already found iron, which iron and resin is going to mean that we can pretty easily, probably, assuming that's a decent sized vein, we can pretty easily, oh, I think, is that, wait a second. I'm just going, let's run our ladders up, which technically you can, I'll show you something here in just a second. Especially with these tall trees, it helps out a lot. I don't, it isn't. I thought it was for a second there. But we can actually skip a space with these. And it does make climbing these really tall trees a bit easier. But yeah, we're not seeing any resin on this. And you kind of just want to be pretty thorough with your pine trees. Because you don't want to accidentally chop down a nice big pine tree with like a resin block, or dare I say two. You don't usually find two. You're lucky to find one resin spot. But now we will still dig some vertical shafts looking for iron. But I'm so thrilled that we've already found iron. I was expecting that to be a big chunk of today's episode, but apparently. Fate decided that I spent long enough. I didn't really spend that long digging for cassiterite, but I think Fate decided that we had done enough, I suppose. Okay, now some of these maple trees, I'm going to leave them for now. As we kind of hone in on the pine for the time being. But since we did find what appears to be a decent sized copper deposit, I don't think we're going to get into processing iron, doing the bloomery and all that today. I'm actually going to go back and dump this. I guess I could bring a few chests out. Yeah, I probably will. I'll make a couple chests and set them up at least a little bit closer to where we're at, so we kind of have some on-site dump chests. And oh, after last episode, I did realize I had more reeds than what we planted last episode, but I forgot that I had them because I had put them into a dump chest and forgot that they were there. And yeah, without it raining, we've been doing great on body temperature. So we've got quite a bit of pine trees up here. The only thing is This is kind of more in the area where we heard the wolf. There actually is a lot. Oh, there's some. There's some. Let me clear this out, and then we're gonna head on over there. So we got leaking pine log with resin. Wonderful. Let's clean this up just slightly. And then what we can do is we can just hold right click. There we go. We got our very first bit of resin. So we definitely want to keep this tree right here intact. Doesn't matter if we cut away the leaves, but I'm probably just going to use shears on that. Just to be on the safe side, because sometimes with the way that trees link, it usually doesn't cut down the logs of other trees. It'll cut the leaves a lot of times, but it usually doesn't cut the logs. But with it being a resin tree, I'm not going to chance it, you know? I'm just going to leave it alone, and we'll shear off the leaves, or at least the leaves around it. We might leave the pine leaves up there, we'll see, because it's not really going to hurt anything for them to be there. Alright, let's see if we can find any more in the general vicinity. Also taking a bunch of ferns while I'm at it, because I love the fern plants a lot. But as you can see, they do stick out, you know. And I don't check every side, because you can just check one side and it's going to tell you if it's leaking pine or pine log with resin. There's not a whole lot of point in clearing out the leaves all the way around or anything. And it's more likely that you're not going to find resin on a tree, but it's looking for that small chance. Now, that's worth noting, that resin, it will respawn. It takes about a week, but it will respawn. That's why we want to kind of clear this area out, because we're going to be coming back and forth through here a lot over time. So we definitely want it to be very accessible to us. Like I said, I know there's some wolves that nest down back here. So since we're getting a little bit deeper into the forest, I'm probably going to go ahead and continue running stone paths. And then once I run out of stone paths, because I'm pretty close to it, I can make more. I do have chert. But I do think I will probably pop down there and at least mine the copper up. Might mine the iron too. We'll do it on camera though, because it's kind of an exciting moment. And I actually managed to not use up my bismuth bronze pick before we found copper, because I keep accidentally using the thing. And you don't have to put a stone path underneath the stairs, but I do it because otherwise you can see the border down there. Just like, you know, within Minecraft, I do the same thing with path blocks so that I don't have that border. And it's the same way within Vintage Story. We've actually got a bunch of drifters because it's high rift activity tonight, so I'm going to pop on back. I may just, since it is high rift activity, I may actually just sleep through the night. Let's see, it's 4 o'clock. Yeah, we really need to make a better bed so we can actually sleep through the night, especially during the winter. Because that's something we haven't really talked about. Different tiers of beds allow you to sleep for longer periods of time, and we're still sleeping on a bed made of hay. But that's okay, our roof's made of hay too, so. Yeah, and actually, since we're going a little bit deeper, I'm going to go ahead and take our armor for now, just in case a wolf does jump us while I'm not actively paying attention. Dense forest, always about the scariest place you can be in terms of wolves. Just because of the fact that it's harder to see them coming, and if they do get the jump on you, it can be a little bit hard to run back, like run away. So it's a very long straightaway. I don't like it. We're going to have to curve it off. Though actually, I think we're pretty close to that pine tree, so I may make it curve, like split. Let's see. Yeah, there's our pine tree right there. So yeah, I'll just have the path split off here. Normally I like to keep my forest pretty intact, like the one, you know, back behind our base. We're going to keep that one probably pretty intact. But this one, there's just so many resources here that I do plan on taking advantage of, that I'm going to trim it away. I'm not going to trim probably back in here and kind of keep a lot of this forest. And then we'll probably build some structures along the roadside. This area I definitely want to kind of move to industrialize a little bit. We have made a dent into this forest. And our chests are showing it, for sure. Okay, let's go ahead and scout up a little bit at this point. We know that that right there is a good tree to keep. And as far as how I'm going to split this path off, I think what I'm going to do is actually have the area going off to the right split off right here. And kind of stagger the split a little bit. So we could have one path split off like this and kind of come through the forest on this side, and this one would kind of come up just a little bit more and then split off, you know, off in that direction. I think that'll be good. Alright, now the sun has started to go down, and I think we're going to slip back here now, and we are going to mine our very first bits of iron. Plus, we're going to be mining some, well, we got saltpeter and we got copper down here. I just love it. I just love it. It's just like, here's all these free resources. No telling what's down there. Alright. Let's start with this. This is poor quality, but that does not hurt my feelings one bit. I really hope it's not just like one iron ore, because that would be kind of sad, but if it is, then it is what it is. I mean, that's one more than what I had, you know. But oh yeah, this is it's actually a pretty nice vein of copper. This is one of those veins that just keeps going and going and going. Like, you're like, is it ever going to end? Because, I mean, it just keeps splitting off in different directions. And I'm loving it. And to have just come upon this by happenstance is kind of nice, too. Well, we've gotten over a stack. And I've still got a bit to go, so. Oh, wow, we found chalk, too. Back in here. Wow, okay. Oh, and we got a crystallized chunk, and I'm still not done yet, by the way. I'll come back to that chalk in just a moment. Right now I'm mining copper, though. It's going to be interesting whenever this pick breaks, just trying to mine this copper deposit. Because, like, I haven't even had to, like, excavate. I mean, look at it. It just goes all up into the ceiling and everything. Like, yeah, this pick's not going to make it till the end. I didn't even see that whenever I was down here mining. Yeah. I figured, like, as soon as I break a block, there's more. Oh no, I had a piece fall down there. I put that stone path there to try to avoid that, but, I'll go down there. It's just one piece of copper, but, I still don't like being wasteful. That's okay. I'm going to want to run a ladder down here anyways. Oh, my torch got put out. A lot of deep drifters down here. All that for one piece of copper. Ah, I gotta be greedy. Yep, that pick's gone. Okay, well, I've still got more copper to mine, but this is what we ended up coming out with so far. And that's without having to really dig away any stone, you know, to try to uncover more. So, very, very rich copper deposit here. to say the least. Alright, so let's go ahead and mine our very first iron. I'm really hoping this isn't all. There's more back here. We'll see how big the deposit actually ends up being, but... Oh, come on, keep going. Keep going. Ah, keep going. Keep going. Yes. Yes, do this. I like this. And, of course, we're sitting on top of, like, this whole area is, like, high, very high magnetite. So, oh. Oh, wow. And it branches off, too. At this stage of the game, this is like Vintage Story Christmas, you know? Oh, good, there's more copper, because, you know, I was worried that there wouldn't be. Let me just take a look. Oh, okay. Move a stone. Here's more iron. Have some more iron. Here's lots of iron. Here's more copper. Oh my gosh. This is not how I was expecting today to go. I mean, we've only found one resin so far. That's okay. Because in the meantime, I'm getting to load up on wood, which is actually kind of a big deal. But to just have all these free resources right here. And, like, I didn't even have to dig anything. It was just a cave. Under a pine tree. Okay, it looks like I'm going to break another pick. I've never been so happy to break picks. And we haven't even went down in that cave that all the drifters were in. Like, there's no telling what we're bound to find down there. Oh, God. Oh, my God, it just keeps going. Okay, that pick broke, too. I almost got an entire stack of medium chunks. These are medium chunks. These aren't poor. Medium chunks of magnetite. And I've still got some there and there. And there, and I haven't even been, like, digging out stone, really, to see, like, what's behind there. I've got more copper up there. Not to mention, I almost got 2 stacks of copper. And I have that whole area down there to explore. Oh, goodness. Okay, well, I can't do any more damage here until I go get more picks. But I do have copper picks and bronze picks made up, so we could come right back down here. And by the way, what we've gotten so far from the forest is all of this stuff, plus what's in our dump chests, which we can take a look at. I meant to have those chests set up beforehand, so I didn't end up with dump chests. But dump chests, we've got all of this stuff too. And we'll keep this chest here for our... This dump chest is just going to be for what we mined today. Because this is already looking very, very nice. Alright, I made up a bunch of poultice. I think we're going to go back down into the bowels of the earth. Because it's just too rewarding. But we do have to be mindful of our stability. I mean, I could break down a temporal gear if we had to. Though it's really not an ideal solution. Yeah, let's head back over to the Copper Mountain Cave. And, yeah, we got snow. And I should have brought my prospecting pick just so that we could take a sample. We may come down here and do that, though. And the thing is, if we're finding this much magnetite up here, we can almost guarantee that, like, this whole area is like Iron City. So, let's see. We got an 18 since we came back. But at this point, we've mined pretty much all the visible stuff, so I'm going to dig out a little bit of this andesite at least. Oh, we got more copper. And we got more iron. What amazes me the most, though, is the fact that this was just, like, at the mouth of a cave, basically. And it was just a cave we happened upon while we were clearing for resin. Oh, we hit a cave. Awesome. Let's poke our head in. I'm not quite done. More copper. More copper. And there's chalk. Okay, so what is up in this direction? Seems like we got quite a bit of caves. And these will all pretty much be running up underneath Copper Mountain, kind of. Chalk. Okay, this is the back end of where we fought all those drifters off. So we know where one of those paths lead at this point. But I'm going to continue mining here because I know there is more copper. I'm going to start getting temporal stability glitches. So I'll probably head up here in a little bit. And, you know, we can continue working on resin. We can also go get fire clay at this point. But we still have all of that up there. But I don't have any inventory space at the moment. We managed to pull that time 23 medium chunks of magnetite, 42 medium chunks of copper, and a medium crystallized copper. And we still need to kind of remove a lot of the stone and just look behind it. So there is no telling. So at present, that's what we've gotten today. Okay, well, it's early enough in the day right now. I think what we're going to do, we're going to pop over really, really quick and go ahead and get ourselves some fire clay. That way, we've got that out of the way. We've got some shovels on us, so we should be good. Yeah, let's go ahead and, while we're here, just go ahead and grab this copper. Okay, so we ended up getting a crystallized, and we got 22 and 18, so we got 40 and a crystallized. Not bad at all. Not really seeing any more, though, so I think that's probably about it for Copper Cave. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the Copper Cave waypoint at this point. Alright, but I was coming out here for fire clay. We do have a lot of fire clay deposits, but it's a little bit harder to find them with all this snow on top of it. And I didn't mark it because I was like, well, we got a lot of them and I'll never lose them. Actually, let's pop home. I didn't think about it and I didn't bring any food out with me. And we're going to start taking damage momentarily. To be fair, I wasn't expecting to be out that long. Alright, I need food. There we go. There we go. Our horde grows. Alright, now since it's night, we're actually going to... Yeah, it's not even midnight yet. We're going to head down back into this cave. We still got some copper to mine, and we got some exploring to do. But before we do that, we are going to take just a check. Just to see. Okay, yeah, you can go down there. High native copper, poor magnetite, very poor cinnabar, minuscule amounts of sphalerite. Well, we did pretty alright on magnetite. But we're just going to let this fall to the cavern below, and we can go down there and pick it up, battle off the lurkers, and get our copper at the bottom. Okay, now I got to go to the bottom and pick up our stuff. But I actually think we've gotten, you know, at least most of the copper. Alright, I'm coming to deal with... Oh, wow, there's a lot of them. But I have to, I've got to go down there. There's just copper and stone and all kinds of stuff down here. So many drifters. Okay, that one's down. Okay, I need to heal up. They just keep coming. Okay. Alright, I got a big old massive horde of drifters to cut up. And hopefully get something out of it. Or not. We got a flax fiber. 2 flax fibers. Oh, there's still more copper. Oh, there's still more copper. Okay. But we did get 56 more poor chunks and another poor crystallized chunk. So, lots of saltpeter. I'm not going to get all of that right now. Because I kind of want to not overflow my inventory with saltpeter. A lot more chalk. I actually do like finding that. I'm gonna have to make me a new sword once we get back. Okay. Oh, we got coal down here. Also, nice big deposit of coal. I'm just gonna pass that up for right now. I mean, I'll remember that it's down here, but it looks to be a dead end. So I'm actually going to come back up. It's 3 in the morning. Yeah, I might actually take a little bit of time and mine a little bit of that coal. Yeah, why don't you go down there? Alright, but I'll take some time, mine up a little bit of this brown coal. Plus we're going to get some chalk, which is, you know, that's kind of nice. We'll just kind of get that in the process of mining this up, so. But the sun is up, so we are going to head back home at this point. But I did go ahead, and on my way out, I gathered a little bit of that saltpeter and found a little bit more copper. So we did end up with 62 and a crystallized chunk from that trip, plus a little over 2 stacks of brown coal. I didn't mine all of it by a long stretch. Brown coal, it tends to spawn in fairly large amounts. So I just got a little bit of it. Just a wee bit. Oh, and that actually fits in nicely. Look at all that. That's what we got today. Most of it's copper, but we did get over... We got a stack and 15 of magnetite, so... Alright, so at this point, I know we're getting kind of close to wrapping up point, but we are going to spend just a minute more seeing if we can find maybe another resin tree. And actually, let me grab a torch to have them offhand. And as a side note, this is actually one of my favorite times of Vintage Story. Like, the seasons are great, but winter, definitely my favorite. Because, you know, I'm a big fan of winter in real life. And Vintage Story, I think, handles it extremely well. Because you kind of have rain leading into sleet, which leads into snow, and then everything kind of steadily starts to get really snow covered. Oh yeah, we still got to go get fire clay too. I'll tell you what, fire clay, it wasn't our plan for this episode anyways, so we'll leave that, and we'll get fire clay like next episode when we actually need it. I still hear that wolf carrying on. I'm hoping we run into him today because I put on this armor just for him. Okay, after a bit of looking... Actually, there's our wolf. Oh. Never gonna be able to find it in all this brush. Okay, well. Oh. Did you get your mate? Yep, I'm here. Oh, there's 2? Well, there's one down. Let me grab these. That one is like extremely stuck right now. Now, this isn't the one that I was just attacking, because the one I was attacking had gray. in its pelt, but there we go. See what we got. Come on now. Problem is there's a rift and it's night. Okay, I really don't care about the meat, of course, but I will take fat and stuff. My body temperature's actually down. I'm going to need to warm up here shortly, but I was bringing you guys back in because I wanted to show you something. Okay, yeah, we got a bit of leather and a bit of bones, so that's good. Okay. So let's come back up here. Yeah, this is kind of where I was clearing stuff out. I'm starting to shiver, so I am going to have to get home. But, oh my gosh. Guys, I'm trying to deal with something. But right up here, I have actually found our second leaking pine log with resin. So I am going to go ahead and mark that just so I don't lose it, because it is, it's just going to be kind of a temporary mark. Generally, my marks in black are temporary marks. Stuff that we're not going to necessarily have a point to have on the map for too long. Yeah, but I have to get home. My screen is starting to freeze over. I'm almost there, though. There we go. Zoom. Hey. He is just completely disinterested. Oh my gosh. He's just gonna have to get away. Oh. Look at him. Just wolves out to try to find a meal, I think. So we did end up finding 2 spots with resin. Now, as long as we continue to check those, we should be pretty good. But basically, like every 7 days or so, they'll get their resin back. And then we can reharvest it. So, and you don't need a ton of resin to get started. Like, say, with mechanical power, for example. You don't need a ton of resin to get started, but I wanted to find... Oh, I was hoping for at least 2 nodes, and it worked out. There's probably a lot more out there, so I will continue to look out there. But if we consistently harvest that, you know, every few days, then we should be all right on resin. So it'll build up pretty quickly. But you can see my body temperature. I love using I love cooking things to get my body temperature up, because it's like 2 birds with 1 stone. I did just make a bunch of, well, I think it was spelt with turnip. I don't know, it's whatever I had there. I made a couple batches of that, but I can store more and make use of that. Hey, I see you. Ah! You're not... I know they want to eat my chickens. I know that's what they're really after. Why is there so many of them up here? Well, I know why there's so many of them up here, but... I think this wolf is the mate of that white one that we keep attacking. Good time to get pelts and stuff too, is the winter. Lot of wolves. Oh, we got some fat off of that one. Seeing a lot of bushmeat, but like I said, I just don't care. You know, I had that 15 bushmeat, you know, a couple episodes ago, and I ate it, and it was literally like 1 meal. Like, it just wasn't even worth the time it took to cook. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna even bother picking up the bushmeat at this point. It's just kind of meh. It's fine for food at the start, but it doesn't really do that great for us at this point, I don't feel like. Because now we just make soups. And probably start making other food a little bit later on. Like pies or something. Oh yeah, I need to use these. I was going to make some scrambled eggs. 7. 7's such an awkward number. We'll go ahead and use these up because might as well. And make us some scrambled eggs with turnip garnish. Because eggs were like the only thing I had that was kind of getting close to going bad on me. 700 saturation a pop, so that's not bad. Basically, they're going to be good. We've got food for like at least the month of December, probably, or close to it, within these two. Probably just close to it. And we are on the 1st of December, and we've still got all of this. So, I've barely even begun to scratch the surface, and I've still got all these mushrooms, too. Which are still going to be good for, I mean, it'll be spring, you know, before they're bad. But anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode. Just a quick look at what all we got. I mean, we got a bunch of wood. I've got to get all this stuff sorted. We did get a bunch of seeds, especially pine seeds, specifically, which I'm quite happy about. Because normally I don't have a lot of luck, but I did get lucky on pine seeds. And we, of course, we got 2 pieces of resin, and we'll continue monitoring that. And I'll continue cutting down wood occasionally. But we got all of this. And then we got all of this. This is my baby here. A literal ton of copper. All this is copper. And then we got a substantial amount of magnetite. Considering we didn't have to do any work for that. That's what, I mean, it's not necessarily like the biggest veins ever. Okay. Not necessarily the biggest veins ever, but the fact that we were able to get it with literally no effort whatsoever on our part, aside from just like coming across it, that's just my leftover axes. But I got all this wood. A lot of wood here. All in all, I think we got about 3 chests worth of wood, so that's not too bad either. I'll be turning quite a bit of that into charcoal, and then I'll be using a lot of it for building too, here pretty soon. So, but anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode. I have to say I'm very, very happy with our progress this episode. I wasn't expecting to get quite so much ore, and I'm happy with where we're at on resin. You know, I was aiming for like 2 nodes. At least today, because that puts us in a pretty good spot. If we make sure we keep harvesting off that, then we'll be sitting pretty good. I do have to continue running the roads and stuff. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.